And welcome back to On Cue. I'm Eric Olson. We're going to talk about electricity, gas, energy with our guest of the moment, our expert of the moment, Mark Nibaur, General Manager of Austin Utilities. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Eric. Excited to be here.
Yeah, you have been in the news of late. You're going to be moving, hopefully, or is it going to happen, moving your facility to a larger facility. How's that process going?
Well, very well. We made some major strides, I guess, in the last couple of months, but it's a process of moving a number of our locations and operations into one central facility, we call it, out at Energy Park. That process took some major strides the last couple of months with the board approving that decision to move forward with the construction of a new central facility for all operations.
Now, I didn't know there was an Energy Park. Shame on me.
Yeah.
Where is it? Out by your the facility out of town there a little bit?
Yeah, we call it Energy Park.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's out by Todd Park.
Right, okay.
And it's a location that they purchased back in 2009. We have about 23 acres, and we so coined it as Energy Park, and that's where the central facility will be built starting next year.
Explain a little bit about Austin Utility and your mission and the way you organize. People might think you're a government agency because when you pay your bill, you go into City Hall building. There might be some confusion that you're an agency of the county or city.
Right. Yeah, we are a charter municipal operation, so we're a charter with the city of running a gas, electric, and water utility. With that charter, we have our own set of rules and we have our own commission. We have a 5-member commission that operates and helps govern our utilities, and those 5 members are elected by the community. So that's pretty unique for municipal to have that kind of governance that's elected by the community. And so based off of that, we have our own budget, we have our own operations. Our business model is truly a municipal that's standalone here in Austin.
So you don't go before the city council to get approval for things?
Well, we do a couple things. If we buy and sell property, we would go in front of the city council, as well as if we need bonding and debt to make purchases, like we will for this new building. We have to go in front of the council and go through the city to issue that debt. But there are the only 2 reasons we would have to go in front of the council for assistance and support or approval of any actions that we might have.
Okay, and we were talking before we started recording that as far as electric service goes in our state, there are several different ways that energy can get to a customer's home, whether it be a municipal entity like yourself, or sometimes the actual big company like an Xcel Energy serves a household. Talk a little bit about those different ways and how Austin Utilities fits in.
Yeah, there's a number of municipals in the city or in the state of Minnesota, and actually many states in the Midwest. And as a municipal, it's governed, operated for the public, for the community. So the community really owns and operates the utility. They're based off of the percentage of those entities serving the communities is pretty small. The investor owns, as we call it, as you mentioned, Xcels or Minnesota Powers, they predominantly serve the major metropolitan areas. Again, they're investor owned, they're shareholders, they operate based off of recovering some kind of return, so their shareholders can get some kind of dividend returns. And then there's also another body that serves the electric world, and that's rural cooperatives that serve more of the rural areas here in Minnesota. So there's 3 different entities that business models that can serve electricity here in the community or in the state.
And a big history with the rural cooperatives. That's how it all got started, right? As far as getting energy out to the farms.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, very
rural
much so.
Electrification.
Exactly. If that bill didn't go through, I think that would have been very difficult to see electricity strung through the community, through the countryside.
And another, speaking of that, another entity, another electric utility, another city in our viewing area, Albert Lea, is going through a change of theirs. One of their companies is going away, and another one's going to get really big.
Yeah, exactly. Alliant is looking at selling some of their properties, which includes Albert Lea and lots of other communities. And the rural cooperatives in southern Iowa came together to work through that transaction, and eventually, as that is completed, those rural cooperatives will be serving some of those Alliant customers. So a change that's unusual, and we'll probably hear a lot more about that over the next few months.
So Freeborn Mauer will get bigger.
Exactly. exactly. That rural cooperative will get have a few more customers to serve when the transaction is completed.
When you run a company like this or a small business, you often hear about we have aggressive growth plans or anything like that. But when you have a finite group of customers, what are the benchmarks for an organization like this besides just balancing a budget? I mean, do you grow revenue? What's the mission?
Well, you know, and it's kind of interesting because with the state and the energy efficiency standards that we have, we actually try to reduce our customers' load and growth through energy efficiency, which every year we meet those standards, which is very, very speaks highly of our operations and staff that meets those needs. So it's kind of interesting. We grow by maybe more customers, but that customer's load or their electric usage, we try to reduce. So it's kind of interesting in that perspective. I think some of the benchmarks for us is reliability and service. We want to make sure the lights stay on and the water and gas continue to flow. So those are some benchmarks we look at. We look at costs and budgets, obviously, and managing those. And we do look at different ways that maybe we can have revenue streams in to our budget, per se. But some of the benchmarks really is just reliability and service to our customers.
And this new facility, you mentioned earlier that you have some workers here and there. How many folks all over, and then they'll all be in one location?
Yeah, we have roughly around 90 employees to serve all three of our utility operations. And at this point, we're probably scattered between 3 different sites within the community and probably about 6 to 7 different buildings or facilities that we have staff or equipment or material in. And so we'll bring all 3 sites, different buildings, into one building. Hopefully another year to 2 years, we'll have that all done, and it'll be a good time for us to maybe serve our customer a little differently, a little efficiently, and more economically.
We're talking with Mark Nibaur of Austin Utilities. What about what you hear about smart grids going in to your home and deciding and being able to see how much your energy costs at this particular time of day? Well, I'll wait and do the laundry later. Is that pie in the sky stuff?
You know, I think for a lot of utilities it is. It's going to be the next wave, the next technology out there. There's some companies that are using smart grid to some level. So it's not too much pie in the sky. It's there, it's available, it's very expensive, and still you're looking at the costs versus the benefits of that, and we're still working through that. Eventually, will we see some kind of smart grid, as you mentioned, here in Austin or in Minnesota? Oh yeah, I think it'll get here sooner or later. With the technology that's available and what the customers are asking for and demanding as time goes along. Especially the millennium level, I think that will be something that will be a very good service and something we'll have to take a look at.
Yeah, and there's a part of me that thinks, you know, some of these things, I don't want the choice. You know, there's too many decisions I make in the day as it is, but I guess a new generation wants more. They want to know where their energy is coming from, I suppose.
Yeah. Yep, and I think they want to be able to determine when they use that energy and at what cost, and that will be, I think, really defined as we move forward and what that structure looks like. So lots of things to work out, but technology is there. It's just a matter of implementing and, like you said, the customer accepting that.
Well, let's get your building built first, okay?
Yeah, first things first.
Before we talk about that. Well, Mark, thank you very much for joining us from Austin Utilities and for giving us a little insight. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it.